Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our DevOps Full Stack program. In the yesterday's session, we discussed about the trainer details, who is trainer for this batch, and we discussed what are the prerequisites to attend this course. So as we discussed, it is a 0 to hero program. So no prerequisites, no programming background required for attending this. So freshers also can learn this. Graduates, undergraduates, non-IT people, working people can attend this DevOps Full Stack program. And as part of this Full Stack program, we are going to cover total 8 modules: Linux operating system, shell scripting, Linux admin, Python scripting, AWS Cloud, DevOps tools, and real-time projects, and interview guidance also will be available. This is the course content for this DevOps Full Stack program. Earlier DevOps batch and this DevOps batch, the difference: Linux admin, Python scripting, and these real-time projects are newly added. Then coming to the course information, as we discussed, the course name is DevOps Full Stack and the course code is 19 DevOps. It is going to take 4 months of time. Conditions apply. You need to attend 2 classes. Okay. Now, class timings 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Linux and shell scripting we are going to learn. And coming to DevOps tools, 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. IST our DevOps tools will be available. And AWS Cloud, we are going to learn Python and Linux admin. Parallelly, you can learn. So in the morning or in the evening, batches will start. At that time, you can join for Python classes. And coming to our services, daily live classes will be there from Monday to Saturday. Soft copy notes also will be provided for every topic. And backup videos will be there with 1 year validity. After course completion, 1 year access will be there for the backup videos. And daily doubts clarification also will be there at the end of the session. And we will create one WhatsApp group also for clarifications and communication purpose. Coming to the course fee structure, if you take these courses individually, then the total cost is going to become 37,000. But we are giving it as a package for 26,000 for DevOps Full Stack. If you want to attend only DevOps and AWS, then the course fees is going to be 18,000. Okay. Now, you can attend 5 classes for free with the same Zoom. Today is our second session. And coming to the course content, the syllabus, what we are going to learn in the DevOps. So there are 15 plus DevOps tools we are going to learn. And coming to the AWS Cloud, there are 10 plus services that we are going to learn from AWS Cloud also. As we are going to cover Linux, shell scripting, Python, AWS, DevOps, and real-time projects, you can keep 4+ years experience as a DevOps engineer after this course got completed. All right. Now, let's continue with the day 2. So here, first we need to understand what is DevOps. This is DevOps program, right? So we need to understand what is DevOps. So I think all of you might have heard the definition of DevOps. What is the DevOps? DevOps, nothing but development plus operations. So in the company, development team will be available, who will write the code and who will develop the application, right? So once the project development is completed, we need to perform some operations on the project. Development plus operations is called as DevOps. So what is this DevOps? Is this a new technology in the market? No, DevOps is not a new technology, guys. DevOps is a culture. What is DevOps? DevOps is a culture, or we can say DevOps is a process in IT industry. Okay, DevOps is a culture, or DevOps is called as process. So why we need to follow this DevOps culture? Why we need to follow this DevOps culture? To simplify application delivery process. To simplify application delivery process to client with a high quality. So whatever the project that we are developing, so directly whatever the code we are writing, we can't give that code to the client. So once the developer's coding is completed, we need to perform some operations on the application. Okay, so to perform those operations on the application, we are going to follow DevOps culture, DevOps process. DevOps nothing but development plus operations. DevOps is a culture. We can also call it as a process in the IT industry. Why companies are going to adopt this DevOps culture? So companies are adopting this DevOps culture to simplify application delivery process to client with a high quality. Okay. And the main aim of the DevOps, what is the main agenda of the DevOps culture, or what is the main aim of the DevOps culture? The main aim of the DevOps is to establish collaboration between development team and operations team. So the main aim of the DevOps is to establish collaboration between development team and operations team, between dev team and ops team. Development team will be available and operations team also will be available in the project. So when two teams are working on the same project, each team should know what other teams are doing, what code, what is doing by development team, and what operations team is doing. Developers should know what operations team is doing. Operations team should know what development team is doing. So there should be some collaboration between the development team and operations team. Then only we can deliver our application to the client with a high quality. So that's where this DevOps comes into picture. DevOps is a culture, or DevOps is a process in the IT industry to simplify application delivery process to the client with a high quality. The main aim of DevOps to establish collaboration between development team and operations team. So in the types of teams in the project, okay, types of teams in the project. So if we take any project, guys, if you take any project, then what type of teams will be available in the project? First, we can see there will be one functional team. Functional team will be available, and in the project, development team will be available, and testing team will be available, and testing team will be available, and operations team will be available. Ops team will be available. So if you go to the IT company for the projects, so you can see different types of teams in the project. Functional team will be available for the project. Development team will be available for the project. Testing team will be available, and operations team will be available. So what is this functional team? Functional team is responsible to collect requirements from the client. Requirements from the client. Okay. Who is our client? What is the client business? What we need to develop for the client? So this functional team will work with client and they will collect requirements from the client. What is the client business? Okay. What is the client expectation? This functional team will interact with the client. They will go to client location and they will collect the requirements from the client and they will prepare the requirement document. This functional team will collect requirements from the client and they will prepare requirements document. Then coming to development team in the project. So what is the responsibility of this development team? Coding. So they will write the code. So they will use Java or Python or .NET, something like this. Some technologies are available, some programming languages available. By using these programming languages, they will write the code. That coding is responsibility of development team in the project. Once the development team completed coding part, then testing team comes into picture. This testing team is going to perform verification and validation. What client is expecting and what development is doing, whether client requirement is matching or not. So whatever the code developers has implemented, is that code working as expected by the client or not, will be verified by testing team. Okay. Now, once the project testing is completed, if it is working as expected, then operations team will be comes into picture. Nothing but a DevOps team comes into picture. So when I say ops team, we are also calling it as DevOps team. This DevOps team is responsible for build, deploy, and deliver. Okay. So as a DevOps team, we are responsible to build the application. That means we need to make our application code is ready to execute. and we need to deploy that application into some servers, and we need to deliver that application to that client. Okay, what is the meaning of DevOps? DevOps nothing but development plus operations, guys. This DevOps is a culture, or we can say DevOps is a process in the IT industry to simplify application delivery process to client with high quality. We are going to follow this DevOps culture. The main aim of the DevOps is to establish collaboration between dev team and operations team. Almost all IT companies, almost all IT companies adopting this DevOps culture. This DevOps culture to develop and deliver software applications. Nowadays, almost all the software companies are adopting this DevOps culture to simplify application delivery process. Okay, so whenever we go for a software company, and there will be some types of projects will be available. So when multiple projects are available in the company, multiple teams also will be available for every project. Every project will contain these types of teams. Okay, functional team will be available, development team will be available, testing team will be available, and DevOps team also will be available. What is the meaning of functional team? Functional team is responsible to collect the requirements from the client. Development team is responsible for coding. Testing team is responsible for verification and validation. DevOps team is responsible for application build, application deploy, and application delivery process. So are you guys clear with the types of teams available in the project and what is their responsibility? If you are clear, could you please respond in the chat box? If you are clear, could you please respond in the chat box? Say that clear. I need all your attention, guys. I need all your attention. Make the class interactive. So if you are responding to my questions, then I will get more energy and I will get more interest to teach more subject. So be active. Don't attend the classes from your mobile phone. I request all of you, don't attend the classes from the mobile. Please attend the classes from your laptop so that you can quickly respond to my questions in the class. If you are giving the response, then I will get more interest, then class will be interactive. Got it? Now, so here, what are the roles of functionality? Roles and responsibilities of the functionality. What are the roles and responsibilities of functional team in the project? So, right. So here, functional team is responsible to understand client business. Okay. This functional team is responsible to understand client business. Okay. Understand client requirements. Understand client requirement. So we are going to develop a project for the client. What is the client business? Is the client is doing hospital business, or he is doing e-commerce business? Is it a telecom company? Is it a tech company? So client, what kind of business client is doing? What kind of project client is expecting? Those things will be taken care by functional team. Understand the client business, understand client requirement, gather requirements from the client, gather requirements from client, prepare requirements document. Prepare requirements document, which is called as FDD. In the company, we are going to call it as FDD. FDD stands for Functional Design Document. FDD nothing but Functional Design Document. What functionality client is expecting in the project, those things will be documented. That is called Functional Design Document. Okay. Now, so let me show you how the functional design documents are going to look like. So if you see, the functional design documents are going to look like this. Functional team will gather requirements from the client and they will prepare one functional design document like this. We are expecting a registration page in our application like this. We are expecting a login page in our application. We are expecting reset password page in our application. We are expecting dashboard page in our application. Like this, functional team will prepare the requirements document and they will give that requirements document to development team and the testing. So what is the responsibility of functional team in the project? Functional team is also called as business analyst team. Functional team also called as functional team is also called as business analyst team. Business analyst team. So they will analyze the client business. They will understand client requirements. They will gather requirements from the client. They will prepare requirements document, which is called FDD. And they will explain FDD to dev and testing team. So developers has to develop the code based on the requirements, right? So these functional people will prepare the FDD document and they will share that document with the development team and testing team. Functional team is also called as business analyst team in the company. Are you guys clear? What is functional team and what is the responsibility of functional team in the project? Functional team is responsible to understand client business, gather requirements from the client, prepare requirements document. For every project, this kind of requirement document will be available. This requirement document will be given to development team and the testing team in the project. Development team will write the code based on this document only. They will read this document. Based on this document, they will develop the code and they will give the code for the testing team. Okay. Then next one, what are the roles and responsibilities of development team in the project? For every project, developers will be available. So what is the responsibility of this development team? This development team is responsible for analyzing the requirements. So requirements document is given by functional people in the FDD. So developers will read this FDD document and they will analyze the requirement. Okay. So that means whatever the requirement is given, can we do this requirement or not? Is it possible to do this requirement or not? Are there any challenges available in the requirement? Like that they are going to read this document multiple times and they will try to understand the requirement and they may get some questions also. When they get some questions on the requirement, they will communicate with the functional team only. And remember that in the company, directly we cannot communicate with the client guys. Client is a businessman. The clients will be very busy. As a developer, as a tester, as a DevOps engineer, we cannot communicate with the client directly. Between the dev team and client, functional team will be available. If we have any doubt on the functionality of the project, we need to talk to the functional team. Functional team will talk to the client. Are you guys clear? So answer my question. Can we directly communicate with the client in the company? As a software engineer, as a developer, tester, DevOps engineer, can we communicate with the client directly, guys? No. So if you want to understand the requirement, if you want to get some clarity on the requirement, you need to talk to functional team only. Very good. Next one. What are the roles and responsibilities of development team in the project? Development team is responsible for requirements analysis. Whatever the requirements are given by the functional people in the FDD document, developers are going to analyze that requirement. That means they will try to understand the requirement. So they may get some questions on the requirement. They will communicate with the functional team to get the clarifications on the requirement. Requirement analysis will be done by development team in the project. Once they have done the analysis, then they will prepare design. Design is nothing but they will prepare a plan for the development. They will prepare a plan. They will finalize architecture of the project. Okay, what we need to develop for the front end, what we need to develop for the back end, what database we need to use, how we need to design the screens, when we need to complete this task, when we need to complete this task, when we need to deliver. All that design will be taken care by development team. So once the design is completed, the prototype, design nothing but dummy screens will be available. The prototype will be prepared. So design, the prototype will be prepared here. Prototype nothing but skeleton. What they are going to deliver in 1 year, they will show the skeleton to the client. Suppose, for example, if you go to any real estate company to purchase a house, they will show you a brochure with the design of the house. This is how your house will be constructed. This is a model house. You are going to get your house like this. In 1 year, we will hand over the house to you. They will prepare the design and they will show the diagram for us. So this is how your house will be constructed. Similarly, when we are going to develop the project, development team will prepare the design. This is what we are going to develop in the next 1 year of time. That the design will be prepared by the development team. Once the design is finalized, then actual development will be there in the project. That is called coding. They will write the Java logics. They will write the coding. They will write the coding for the application. Development team will take care of the coding part in the project. Some projects will be developed using Java. Some projects will be developed by using Python, .NET. So there are so many programming languages are available. Development team will take care of coding part. Now tell me guys, as a DevOps engineer, do you need to learn the coding? Coding is DevOps team responsibility. Coding is development team responsibility. I need your answer. Coding is developer responsibility, DevOps responsibility. So that means, as if you want to become DevOps engineer, do you need to learn the coding? Is programming knowledge is required to become a DevOps engineer? No. For coding, separate team is already available in the company. Development team will be available to write the coding. So if you don't know Java, Python, no problem. Happily you can learn the DevOps because the DevOps engineer responsibilities are different. I will come to that point also. Okay. Once the coding is completed, these people are going to perform unit testing. These people are going to perform unit testing. Nothing but whatever the code they have written, they will test code is working or not. Right? Here, unit testing will be available. Unit testing, nothing but basic testing. Whatever the code that they have written, whatever the code the developer has written, they will check their code is working as expected or not. Code is working as expected or not. Then developers are responsible for code integration. In a project, multiple developers will be available. All the developers' code should be integrated at one place. So that is also will be taken care by development team. They will analyze the requirement. They will design the project. They will develop the project. They will do the unit testing, nothing but basic testing they will perform. And they will do the code integration also. Then if any code is not working, if there is some problem in the code, then developers are responsible for bug fixing also. They will do the bug fixing. Suppose, for example, they have completed the development. When testers are testing the application, testers found that some functionality is not working in the project. When some functionality is not working in the project, they are going to see why it is not working, what is the problem is there. They are going to identify the problem and they are going to fix the problem. That bug fixing in the code, if any code is not working, that developers are going to take care to fix the problems in that code. Okay, so these are the responsibilities of development team in the project. Then what are the responsibilities of testing team in the project? Okay, for every project, testing team will be available. So this testing team is also going to understand the requirement. They will also do the requirements analysis. Then they will prepare test plan, how to test this application, what functionalities we need to test. So what data we need to use for the testing, they will prepare the test plan. They will analyze the requirements, they will prepare the test plan, and they will perform functional testing. They will check all the functionality is working as expected by the client. Functional testing will be available and load testing also will be available, which is also called as performance testing. This testing team is going to test all the functionalities of the application. So whether application is working as expected by the client or not, they are going to test it. If all the functionalities are working as expected, then they will do the performance testing also. Performance testing means they will check application stability, how application is responding when multiple people access at a time. If 1,000 people logged in into the application at a time, if 1 lakh people access our application at a time, how it is responding, when the application will be failed. Okay, this performance testing is also called as load testing. First, they will do the functional testing. Functional testing, nothing but they will verify all the functionalities working in the project as expected by the client. Okay, now functional testing they will perform, and they will also do bug reporting. They are also responsible for bug reporting. If any functionality is not working, for example, they are trying to test the application with the invalid credentials, application not displaying the error message. Okay, so when the functionality is not working as expected by the client as per the given requirement, if a functionality is not working, then they will do the bug reporting. They will report a bug. When the bug is reported by the testing team, developers are responsible for fixing that bug. So testers will identify the problems in the code. Developers has to correct that problem in the code. That is bug fixing. Testers will test the application, will identify the mistakes available in the code. Then developers will go and analyze that mistake, and they will do the fixing for that problem. So testers will do the bug reporting, developers will do the bug fixing. If once all the bugs are resolved, if all the functionalities are working, then testers are going to do performance testing of the application. Performance testing is nothing but they will verify what is the stability of the application, what is the average response time of the application. If 10,000 people access our application at a time, what is the average response time? If 20,000 people access our application at a time, what is the average response time? What is the strength of our application? What is the weakness of our application? How many users can access our application at a time? For how many users our application will fail? All those things they will identify by using performance testing. Are you guys clear with my point? What are the roles and responsibilities of testing team in the project? If you are able to follow me, type in the chat box. I'm able to follow. Guys, so this is the actual main session that we have started today. And some people are new to my classes. Maybe you may not be able to understand in one shot. That's why I'm writing each and everything, and I'm typing in front of you. Live notes I'm preparing for you. And I'm trying to inject the subject into your brain. Okay. Now also, if you are not able to follow, no problem, because first day, it is a first day. So my voice, my pitch, my way of explanation may be somewhat different than what you are expecting, but give me 5 days of time. That's the reason I told you, you can attend 5 classes for free of cost. Within these 5 days, you can come to the conclusion whether you are able to follow my classes or not. If you are able to follow, if you are able to understand, then only you can join for the course. Are you getting my point? So I'm going very slow and I'm repeating multiple times because some non-IT people also there. They should be able to digest these points. And it is first session, introduction. The introduction is very, very important to start our journey to become DevOps. Okay, we are understanding what is the DevOps. Nothing but development plus operations. This DevOps is a culture. The companies are following this DevOps culture to develop and deliver application to the client with a high quality. What is the main aim of the DevOps? To establish the collaboration between development team and operations team. We are going to adopt this DevOps culture. Before going to understand the DevOps culture and DevOps engineer roles and responsibilities, first we need to understand what is a software application and who will be involved in the application development and delivery process. So in the company, multiple teams will be available to develop the application. Functional team will be available, development team will be available, testing team will be available, and the DevOps team will be available. So what are the roles and responsibilities of the functional team? They will interact with the client and they will get the requirements from the client, and they will prepare one document with all the client requirements. That document is called functional design document. This functional team is also called as business analyst team. Then once the functionality is given by the functional team, then development team comes into picture. Developers will come into picture. What are the roles and responsibilities of development team in the project? Development team is responsible to analyze the requirements, design, develop, test, integrate the code, and do the bug fixing. So these things will be taken care by developers in the project. Then what are the roles and responsibilities of testing team in the project? Testing team is responsible to verify the application functionality is working as expected by the client or not. If any functionality not working as expected by the client, then they will do the bug reporting. When the bug is reported by the testing team, developers are going to fix that bug. Then next one, they will do the performance testing of the application. They will verify the stability and the response time of the application. So once these all things are completed, then we need to deliver application to the client. To deliver application to the client, operations team, nothing but DevOps team comes into picture. Roles and responsibilities of DevOps team. Understand clearly what we need to do what we need to do as a DevOps engineer in the company. All of you with me, respond in the chat box. Are you able to follow me? This point is very important for us now. This point is very important for us now. You are here to learn the DevOps. So as a DevOps engineer, what you need to do in the company? What are your roles and responsibilities as a DevOps engineer in the company? That's what I am going to explain now. So before going to start the discussion, please respond in the chat box. Are you with me? Are you checking Instagram reels, WhatsApp chats? No. Please be active. Please be active. Good. Now, as a DevOps engineer, our first responsibility is understanding infrastructure requirement. Understanding infrastructure requirement for the project. So what is the meaning of infrastructure? For running the application, we need some machines. How many machines are required to run this application? Those machines are also called as servers. What are the servers that we need to run our application? And what is the storage that we need for our application? What are the servers required for the application? What is the storage that is required for the application? What is the network that is required for the application? And we need to maintain backup of our infrastructure, and we need to maintain security of our application. So what is the backup mechanism for our application? What is storage that is required for our application? Which database that we need to use for our application? What is the network that is required for the application? What are the machines that are required? What are the servers that are required? We need to understand. As a DevOps engineer, you need to understand infrastructure for the application. Once you got the clarity on the infrastructure, we are responsible for infrastructure creation. Infrastructure creation is also called as infrastructure provisioning. Infrastructure creation is also called as infrastructure provisioning. So where we need to create this infrastructure? Nowadays, people are creating infrastructure in the cloud. So most of the companies are using cloud infrastructure. Infrastructure creation in the cloud platform. In order to create the infrastructure in the cloud platform, currently people are using a software called Terraform. So as a DevOps engineer, you need to learn first cloud platform. You should know cloud platform, AWS, Azure, GCP, like that there are several cloud platforms available in the market. So you need to understand how to work with the cloud. So we are going to cover AWS Cloud in our course. So in that AWS Cloud, in order to create the infrastructure, we are going to use one software called Terraform. So you need to learn the Terraform. By using that Terraform, you need to create the infrastructure. What is the meaning of infrastructure? Network that is required for the project, backup that is required for the project, security required for the project, storage required for the project, servers that are required for the project, database that is required for the project. All these things are comes under infrastructure only. That infrastructure creation will happen in the cloud platform. To create the infrastructure in the cloud platform, we are going to use a software called Terraform. So once the infrastructure setup is completed, we are responsible for configuration management. We are responsible for configuration management. Sir, what is the meaning of this configuration management? Configuration management, nothing but install required softwares. For example, Java or Python. My application is developed by using Java. I want to install Java software in all the machines. For example, for our application, assume that we are taking, for our application, we are taking 10 servers, guys. Nothing but 10 machines we are taking. When I say server, that is nothing but one machine, guys. When I say server, in the DevOps terminology, when I say machine or when I say server, right? Both are same. One machine is called as one server. So for example, for my application, I have taken 6 machines, 6 computers I have taken, and I want to run my application in the 6 computers. So if I want to run my application in the 6 computers, it is a Java-based application. Now I need to install Java software. For example, Java 17, I'm going to install. I'm going to use Java 17. Now I need to install Java 17 software in all these machines. So installing required software in all these machines is called configuration management. So earlier, companies used to recruit one server administrator. One person will be available, server administrator. That server administrator is responsible to connect with this machine, install Java, connect with this machine, install Java, connect with this machine, install Java, and like this, connect with all the machines that we are using for our project, install Java software in these machines. Okay, we have 6 machines, we install Java. For example, if I have 100 machines to run my application is world famous application like YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp. Crores of customers are accessing my application. So 6 servers are not sufficient. I want 100 servers. I want to run my application in the 100 computers. Then if I take one person to install the softwares in 100 machines, how many days he will take? Okay, he installed Java 17 in 100 machines in 10 days of time. After that, client is asking to change from Java 17 to Java 20. Then again, this person should go to all the machines, uninstall Java 17, install Java 20 again. So if a human is doing this work manually, it will take a lot of time and there is a chance he will do some mistake also. So that is the reason to perform that kind of configuration management currently in the market, we are going to use a software called Ansible. Okay, as a DevOps engineer, we need to learn the Terraform software. Terraform software is used to create the required infrastructure in the cloud platform. And by using this Terraform, you can create infrastructure in any cloud. If you are using AWS, by using Terraform, you can create infrastructure in the AWS. If you are using Azure also, GCP also, no problem. Terraform will support for all the cloud platforms that are available in the market. So that is the reason Terraform is having a lot of demand in the market. By using this Terraform, you can create infrastructure in any cloud platform. By using Terraform, you can work with AWS, you can work with the Azure, you can work with the GCP also. Fine. By using Terraform, I have created 100 machines, guys. So these machines, instead of we are creating, we are going to create these machines in the cloud by using Terraform. 100 machines available. In those 100 machines, I want to install Java. So instead of doing that work manually, we will automate that work by using a software called Ansible. So as a DevOps engineer, you should know how to work with the infrastructure creation and how to work with the configuration management. To create the infrastructure, we will use Terraform. To manage configurations, we are going to use Ansible. Copy files from one machine to another machine. Copy files from one machine to another machine. This is also comes under configuration management only. Okay, are you guys clear with what is Terraform and what is Ansible? I'm explaining the roles of the DevOps engineer and I'm explaining what tools we are going to use to perform those roles. Are you getting my point? Two things I'm covering here. First, I'm covering what are the roles of DevOps engineer and to perform that activity, which tool we are going to use. So as a DevOps engineer, you need to understand infrastructure required for the project. What servers are required, what storage is required, which database is required, what network is required, what security is required, what is the backup mechanism of our infrastructure. These things we need to understand as a DevOps engineer. You are responsible to do this analysis in the project. And you are responsible to create infrastructure for the project in the cloud. So infrastructure means these things only. So that infrastructure creation earlier, long back, people used it to do manually. Now things are automated. So we are going to automate infrastructure creation for the project. To automate that infrastructure creation, we are going to use one tool called Terraform. Terraform is a DevOps tool. Every DevOps engineer should know Terraform. Then by using this Terraform, I have created 100 machines in the project for the project. In these 100 machines, I want to run my application. So if I take one person to install the softwares in 100 machines, he will take a lot of time. And humans, it's very common we will do the mistakes. By mistake, this person, instead of Java 17, he installed Java 13 in the project. Then project will not run in that machine. And by mistake, out of 100, he missed to install the Java in the particular machine. As a human being, it is very common we will do some mistakes due to work pressure or due to tension, due to some problem, due to stress. We may do some mistakes in the work, right? That's the reason manual configuration management is not recommended. That's why we are going to use one software here to do the configuration management in the real time. That software is called Ansible. Ansible is a very powerful DevOps tool that is used for configuration management. By using this Ansible, I will perform the activities in all the machines at a time very quickly. Okay, I will tell to Ansible, hey Ansible, go and install Java 17 in all these machines. Fatafat. Ansible is going to install the Java in all the machines. You can install Java in 1000 machines also by using Ansible. For example, client has changed our requirement. Client told them Java 17 outdated, Java 20 is the latest. Let us use Java 20 for the project. I will tell to Ansible, uninstall Java 17, install Java 20. Within fraction of milliseconds, Ansible will complete that task. That is called configuration management. Okay, then as a DevOps engineer, we are responsible to work with the Linux servers. So the infrastructure that we are setting up, right? All this infrastructure setup will happen on the Linux machines only. So working with the Linux servers. So as I told you, every DevOps engineer should be having very strong knowledge on the Linux operating system. Okay. Now, earlier in the DevOps course, we used it to cover just Linux commands with the shell scripting. But now in the interviews, they are expecting some admin activities on the Linux operating system. That's why we have added Linux admin course also as part of this. So if you learn just basics of the Linux commands, basic shell scripting, that is not sufficient to attend the experienced interviews because you need to know some admin level operations also on the Linux machine. So every DevOps engineer should work with the Linux servers. Okay. And as a DevOps engineer, you should be able to work with the Git repository, source code repository servers. So set up working with you are responsible to work with you are responsible to work with source code repository servers. Source code repository servers will be available. So what is the meaning of source code repository server? For example, here we are going to use GitHub and Bitbucket as source code repository servers in the real time. Okay, some companies will be using GitHub as a source code repository server. Some companies are going to use Bitbucket as a source code repository server. Sir, what is the meaning of this source code repository server? Why we need to work with this GitHub and Bitbucket? Now, simple concept. In a project, multiple developers will be available, guys. Okay, multiple developers will be available in the project. Now, all these developers are not working from the same location. Okay, so developer 1 is available. This developer 1 is working from Hyderabad location. This developer working from Bangalore. Another developer from Chennai. Another developer from Pune. These all developers are working for the same project. So they are doing work from their home. Work from home option is there now. So people are working from their home. They have laptops given by company. Now, this person doing some development, this person. They're doing the coding for the same project. So all the developers' code should be integrated at one place. Okay. So everybody working on the coding part in the project. So all these developers' code should be integrated at one place. That's where we are going to use a software called source code repository software. What is that, guys? Source code repository software is available. So this source code repository software is very, very, very important for every project to integrate the developer's code. So what kind of source code repository servers available? GitHub, Bitbucket, like that. There are several source code repository servers are available in the market. So as a DevOps engineer, you should know how to work with the GitHub, how to work with the Bitbucket. And here you are responsible to set up repository, set up GitHub repository, and user management. User management is also our responsibility, which is also called as RBAC, role-based access. So for all the team members, we don't give all the permissions on the repository. As a DevOps engineer, you are responsible to manage that repository. You should be able to set up the repository. You should be able to give the permissions for the developers in the project. For developers, we will give read permissions. For some developers, we will give read and write permissions. When a new person joined in the project, for the new persons, for new team members, we don't give all the permissions in the repository. For the new team member, we will give only read permission. For the existing team members, we will provide both read and write permissions on the repository. That role-based access is also DevOps engineer responsibility in the project. Role-based access is our responsibility in the project. Okay, working with the source code repository servers. And as a DevOps engineer, we are responsible for code review. So we need to identify mistakes done by the developers by using code review, or we can also call it as code quality checks. Okay, so multiple developers are working on the project. Those developers are going to do the coding part. So whatever the code they have done, is it matching with industry standards or not? Is the code quality is good or bad? That we need to identify as a DevOps engineer. To do that kind of code review process, there is a tool called SonarQube is available. As I told you, DevOps tools, what we are going to cover in the course. GitHub and Bitbucket we are going to use. SonarQube will be available. This GitHub and Bitbucket we are going to use for the source code repository server, so that all the developers code will be integrated at one place. Then we are responsible to perform the code review of the project. To perform the code review, there is a tool called Sonar Cube is available. Why we are going to do this code review? To check the code quality, to identify developer mistakes in the code, right? So we are going to perform code review in the project. Then next one, we are responsible to work with the Docker containers. Work with the Docker. Okay. Docker is called containerization. So preparing containerized application. Application containerization is also our responsibility. So whatever the application is there, we need to containerize our application. Application containerization. So containerization nothing but packaging and executing our application is called containerization. Container nothing but a box. So we need to keep our application code and the required softwares in one box and we need to execute the application. That is called containerization. Containerization is very simple. Whatever the code is available, so developers will give the code. Code they will keep in the GitHub repository. For this code, some libraries will be available. Some libraries are required to execute the code. Developers only will give those libraries. And to execute this code, some softwares are required. For example, Tomcat software is required. MySQL database is required to execute the code. So code plus libraries plus softwares will be available. All these things we are going to keep in one box for the execution. That box is called as a container. Okay. Code plus libraries plus softwares will be available. All these things we are going to keep in one container and we are going to execute. This is called containerization. This is called containerization. To do the containerization for our application, we are going to use one software that is called Docker. As a DevOps engineer, you should know how to package your application code, your application library. That means developers will write the code, developers will give the libraries. Okay, you need to identify what are the softwares required. For example, to run this application, Java required. To run this application, Tomcat server is required. To run this application, MySQL database is required. So these all are called the softwares that are required. In general, we will call them as dependencies that are required for the application. What are the softwares that are required to run our application? Those softwares are called as dependencies. So we are going to package code plus libraries plus dependencies as a box for execution. That packaging concept is called containerization in the real time. So if you see the Docker image also, you can see a container, Docker logo. So if you see the Docker logo, you see the Docker logo is having some boxes. So a ship is available. Inside the ship, some boxes are available. So boxes are called as containers. In that containers, our application code, application libraries, application dependencies will be available. As a DevOps engineer, you should know application containerization. For that, we are going to use Docker. Can you guys tell me what is the meaning of containerization? What is the meaning of libraries? Library is nothing but some predefined code, guys. When we are going to develop a Java project, some code developers will write, some code Java language will provide. Those are called libraries. Predefined classes, predefined code will be available. That is called a library. Library is nothing but the code which is already developed by someone, which we are going to use in our project. That is called library. For example, for the Java developers, Spring Boot is a library. For Python people, Django libraries are available. Got my point? Some code developers will write, some code predefined code will be available. The predefined code that we are going to use in our project, that is called library. The predefined third-party components, jar files. In the Java, we call it as a jar file. In the .NET, we call it as a DLL file. Those are called as libraries. Somebody developed code we will use in our project, that is called library. Dependency is nothing but the softwares that are required for our project. Now, can you tell me what is a containerization? As a DevOps engineer, you are responsible for application containerization. So what is the meaning of containerization? Come on, guys. I need response from you people. What is the meaning of containerization? If you guys respond, then I will proceed. What is the meaning of containerization? Packaging. Simply, you can say packaging code plus libraries plus dependencies is called containerization. So what is the meaning of containerization? Containerization in simple terminology, package, code plus libraries plus dependencies is called as containerization. So we are going to package. If we are going to create a packet, in that packet, what will be available? Code will be available, libraries will be available, dependencies will be available. So in order to package our code plus libraries plus dependencies, as a DevOps engineer, we are going to use one tool called Docker. So Terraform is called a DevOps tool. GitHub Bitbucket are called as a DevOps tools. Ansible is called as a DevOps tool. SonarQube is called as a DevOps tool. Docker is called as a DevOps tool. Learning DevOps nothing but learning the tools to simplify application delivery process. As a DevOps engineer, what is our responsibility? What is the main aim of the DevOps? The main aim of the DevOps to establish collaboration between the development team and operations team. By using this DevOps process, we will simplify application delivery process to the client with a high quality. To simplify this delivery process with a high quality, we are going to use several DevOps tools. What are the DevOps tools are there? There are several tools available. 15 plus DevOps tools we are going to learn in our course, like Terraform, Ansible, GitHub, Bitbucket, SonarQube, Docker, etc. Now, as a DevOps engineer, we are responsible to perform application orchestration. What is that, guys? Application orchestration. Sir, what is the meaning of orchestration? Orchestration meaning is nothing but managing containers. By using Docker, we are going to create the container, right? So I want to increase containers count. I want to decrease the containers count. Today I want to run my application in 5 containers. If more people are accessing, my application should run in 10 containers. If less people are accessing, my containers count should be decreased. Based on the demand, my containers count should be increased. My containers count should be decreased. So that is called managing the containers. To manage the containers, we are going to use orchestration platform. So what is the orchestration platform we have in the market? To perform orchestration, we are going to use a tool called Kubernetes. Docker is used for containerization. Kubernetes is used for orchestration. Containerization means we understood. It is a packaging the code plus libraries plus dependencies. Then what about orchestration? Orchestration nothing but managing the containers. Managing the containers nothing but create the containers, delete the containers, increase the count of the containers, decrease the count of the containers. All these things we are going to take care by using Kubernetes. As a DevOps engineer, Kubernetes tool we have to learn, that is hot cake in the market. Very, 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 very important. Very, 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 very important. Okay. So I hope you got the clarity. What is the purpose of Docker and Kubernetes? Docker is used for containerization. Kubernetes is used for orchestration. You are responsible to work with the containerization tool as well as orchestration tool. And the next one, create pipeline. Create pipeline. As a DevOps engineer, you are responsible to create the pipeline. Sir, what is a pipeline? We are not plumbers, right? Why we need to deal with the pipeline? House pipeline is different. DevOps pipeline is different. Don't think that we are doing plumber job here. Pipeline means DevOps pipeline. DevOps pipeline is used to build and deploy the code. To work with the pipelines, we are going to use a tool called Jenkins. Jenkins CI/CD pipelines we are going to use. What is the meaning of this Jenkins CI/CD pipeline? It is used to automate, build, and deploy. When the developers modify some code in the GitHub, that code we need to build and we need to deploy that code. So to automate project build and deployment, we are going to use pipeline. To automate the build and deployment process, we are going to use this Jenkins pipeline. So in the real time, if you see, the DevOps pipelines will be available like this. Okay. Now here, first development team will be available. That development team will write the code and they will store their code into GitHub. GitHub is called as a version control software where all the developers code will be integrated. Then, so who will deploy that code? That's where Jenkins comes into picture. Jenkins is used to automate the project build and deployment process. So Jenkins will communicate with the GitHub. Generally, whatever the work we need to do manually, that work we are going to automate by using Jenkins. Jenkins will communicate with the GitHub. Jenkins will take the code from the GitHub. Then Jenkins will communicate with the Maven. Maven will check that the code is syntactically correct or not. It is going to build that code. Once the code build is nothing but it will convert. So Jenkins will take the code from the GitHub. Jenkins will give the code to Maven. Maven will convert that code into executable format. That is called build process. Once the Maven build process completed, then Jenkins will communicate with the Ansible for the configuration management and all. Then it will create a Docker image. We will containerize the application. That containerized application we are going to deploy by using Kubernetes. So this is called a Jenkins pipeline. So this Jenkins pipeline is used to automate our project build and deployment process. Whatever the work we need to do manually to build and deploy the code, we will automate that build and deployment process by using Jenkins. Jenkins is called as CI/CD server, which is used to automate build and deployment. To automate the build and deployment, set of steps are required, right? Those steps are called as pipeline. So we'll create the pipeline and we will automate the build and deployment by using CI/CD. Then next one, as a DevOps engineer, we are responsible for monitoring. So what we need to monitor? We need to monitor pipelines monitoring. The pipelines are working as expected or not. And infra monitoring, the servers monitoring, infrastructure monitoring. Infrastructure is working as expected or not. Then we need to monitor logs. Application logs also we need to monitor. So as a DevOps engineer, we are responsible for monitoring also. In order to do this monitoring, we are going to use tools like Grafana, Prometheus. Prometheus is available, and ELK is also available. These tools are used for our application monitoring and application logs monitoring. Application monitoring and application logs monitoring is also available. So this monitoring is also one of the responsibility of DevOps engineer. So these are the roles and responsibilities of DevOps team in the project. Understand the infrastructure, create the infrastructure in the cloud platform, and do the configuration management by using Ansible. For infrastructure creation, we will use Terraform. For configuration management, we will use Ansible. And we need to manage the Linux machines here. And we need to work with the source code repository servers like GitHub and Bitbucket. By using the source code repository servers only, developers will store their code at one place. Developers will be working in different locations. So they need to maintain their code at one place. For that, we will use GitHub and Bitbucket. And we are responsible to perform the code review. To do the code review, we will use a tool called SonarQube. And we are responsible for application containerization. For that, we will use Docker. We need to orchestrate our application. For that, we will use Kubernetes. We need to create the pipelines to automate the build and deployment. For that, we will use Jenkins CI/CD, and we are responsible for monitoring the application, monitoring the logs, monitoring the infrastructure. There are several monitoring tools available like Grafana, Prometheus, and EL. So these are the roles and responsibilities of DevOps team or DevOps engineer. As a DevOps engineer, you are responsible to perform all these activities. GitHub Actions also we can use to automate the build and deployment, guys. Yes. If you are not using Jenkins, then you can go for GitHub Actions to do the build automation. Nowadays, people are using Argo CD to do the pipelines. So there are several options available, guys. There are several options available. Here, Ansible is available. Before Ansible, people used Chef and Puppet for the configuration management. Now, earlier people used SVN. Now people are using GitHub and Bitbucket. If we are using SonarQube, Docker is there, then Kubernetes is there. For Kubernetes, the alternative is OpenShift. Okay, Jenkins CI/CD. What is the alternate for the Jenkins CI/CD? Argo CD is available. GitHub Actions available. There are several options. Alternates also available. Okay, you got my point? What are the roles and responsibilities of DevOps engineer, and what tools we are going to use as a DevOps engineer to perform these activities? Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Come on. So today we discussed about basic introduction part, guys. What is the DevOps and what type of teams will be available in the project? What is the role and responsibility of the functional team? What roles they will perform in the project? What are the roles and responsibilities of development team? Roles and responsibilities of testing team? Roles and responsibilities of DevOps team in the. So tomorrow we are going to discuss more about DevOps and the DevOps lifecycle. So tomorrow we are going to discuss more about DevOps lifecycle, and what are the skills you need to learn, what are the skills you should have to become DevOps engineer. Okay, what should be your skill set if you want to become a DevOps engineer, and what is DevOps, what is the DevOps lifecycle? That thing we are going to discuss in the tomorrow session. So don't miss these initial classes, guys, because these initial classes are very, very, very important. Tomorrow, when you go for the interview, they will ask you, what are your roles and responsibilities in the project? Whatever I have explained today, same thing you need to explain in the interview also. I'm responsible for understanding infrastructure. I'm responsible to create infrastructure in the AWS Cloud by using Terraform. I'm responsible to manage configurations by using Ansible. I will work with Linux servers. I'm responsible to manage source code repositories. I'm responsible for code quality checking. I will take care of application containerization by using Docker. I will take care of my application containers orchestration by using Kubernetes. I'm responsible to create the containers and execute the containers, create the pipelines and monitor the pipeline to automate build and deployment. I'm responsible to monitor my infrastructure, my application logs, my servers, all these things. These are my roles and responsibilities as a DevOps engineer. Okay, so these are the things, guys. So what is our agenda for tomorrow? Tomorrow we are going to discuss more about the skills that are required to become a DevOps engineer and what is the DevOps lifecycle. Okay, and we are going to understand the solid basics related to DevOps. Good, fine. Thank you, guys. So with this, I'm done for today. Now it's time for doubts clarification. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hand so that you will get the option to unmute your mic. And final reminder, you guys can join in this WhatsApp group. You will get the yesterday video and today's video, and you will get the class notes also in this WhatsApp group. So I will wait for 2 minutes. Quickly, all of you join in that WhatsApp group, and I will share this notes now itself in the WhatsApp group. Quickly. I will wait for 2 minutes and I will post the notes. After posting the notes, if you join, you can't access the previous notes, guys. Quickly, all of you join, then you will get the access for the notes. In another 2 minutes, I will upload the today's notes in that WhatsApp group. In another 2 minutes, I will upload these notes in the WhatsApp. Come on, quick. All of you join. Shall I add it? I gave the WhatsApp group link in the chat box. If anyone is not there in that, you will miss the videos and you will miss the notes. Yeah, fine, good. I'm adding now. Done, guys. You got the notes in the WhatsApp group. You can check it now. Are you able to access? You can download that. I posted the notes in the WhatsApp group. You can download. Good. Thank you. Now people are joining. Guys, I told you, after posting, if you join, you can't access it. Yeah, fine. So you can join later point of time. Now let's go with doubts clarification.